Frankly, Freddie here, being Freddie, but frankly, we got a few things to talk about.
Shut up and sit down.
Alright, jumping right into it. We have one thing to talk about. One thing and one thing only. Captain America Civil War. Awesome. Awesome. I have not ever been more entertained by an action movie or a superhero movie as much as I was with Captain America Civil War. So we're going to do a spoiler-free section. It's only going to be a minute or two just running through the an overview real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and hit on a few spoiler topics. So kicking it off here, spoiler-free, action, awesome. The fight scenes were well choreographed. They were well filmed. Not a lot of jump cuts. It was very visually impactful. Only complaint I would have about that is a little bit of Black Widow's fighting seemed to have that problem, but really just her a couple times. With the jump cuts, it was a lot of jump cuts, and it was real in and out, and I guess maybe they did that for a reason, or they're I'm not sure. But other than that, I really can't complain at all. The fighting was awesome. The action was awesome. The stunts were very well done. There was certain stunts in there that they looked too painful for a person to go through, but it looked real enough that it was a real person actually doing it. I think I may have been tricked a few times. I'm not sure. But the action was awesome. The story, awesome. I mean, I'm going to be saying awesome a lot in this video. I'm going to fair warn you right now. Awesome alert. The story, it wasn't the exact same story as, the Civil War comic, but it was still a very interesting, very intriguing, and there is a twist. Won't tell you, and it's not like, earth shattering, but it puts the film a little more in perspective as to what the goal was the whole time. So, story, the CGI, the visual effects were awesome. The new characters, you had Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, awesome job. I would just hope that in further future films of Black Panther, maybe they might put a lighthearted side to it. Because in this movie, there isn't one. He is pissed the whole film. And for good reason. And I don't want to give you that reason. But in this, he's just, his character has so much to be angry and upset about. So he is. And he plays it off so well. He doesn't overdo it, but he seems very serious, and he seems like he could accomplish his goals of what he's trying to do. He seems like he could pull it off, and he has very good reason to. We'll leave it at that. Spider-Man, awesome. I loved Spider-Man. Tom Holland just pulled it off. He really did. I didn't even really know any of his work before this movie. I've seen some of it now. I can't even remember what the movies were, but he nailed it. He really did. And I love the fact that they made Spider-Man so young. I've seen, a few people complaining about the fact that they went that young. I don't know if Aunt May being that young really has any other goal other than saying he has a hot aunt. But I'm fine with that too. That's cool. I'm glad that they made him so young, naive, and just eager to please. He just, he's doing the same thing in his entanglement with the Avengers that I'm doing watching the movie, and that's just fanboying out, man. It was just so many opportunities, if you're a fan, to just say, oh, that's so cool to finally see on screen. It really was. Crossbones, and he was done pretty well. I think I don't it's not a spoiler because I mean, if you know anything about the story, you know that at the end of Winter Soldier, you were basically getting Crossbones. They showed you a scene to where you were. It's basically telling you Crossbones is coming. So he shows up. Zemo, Baron Zemo, is another bad guy that you get to delve into his story and his motivations, and they are again good motivations. That's the quip of this movie, is that everyone's coming from a different angle, but all of their points are valid and they all make sense and they're all justified. So for each of them to all feel as strongly as they do about what's going on and then to come to a head about it and to believe in what they feel so much so that they are willing to go as far as they need to, but they don't want to. Well, some of them do. It's just very compelling, very, very compelling. And so for wrapping up because it was only supposed to be a minute, I know it's been longer than a minute. Wrapping up the spoiler-free section, I am giving this a 5 out of 5. First video up, and yeah, I'm going all in. It was awesome. It is such a recommendation to go see it. I can't explain it enough. So it has my complete seal of approval. I think it's probably going to be one of the funnest films I will ever see. If they can top this, especially if the Russos can top this and top it well, man, we are in for a treat. We are with Infinity War Part 1, Part 2. If it is better than this, I mean, the sky's the limit, man. I mean, that would be awesome. Told you would hear awesome a lot. Alright, so wrapping up the spoiler free section, 5 out of 5. I can't compliment this film. Okay, so kicking into the spoiler section right off the bat, I'm getting right into it. I'm still not going to try and make this last too long, so we're going to try and go through it. But right off the bat, Scarlet Witch kills civilians. Boom. That's like your first punch in the movie that really kicks off things, that squares it up to now we're starting to really see how many people are being hurt by all of our badass fights that we get into, and these situations where we're saving the world, but in certain instances we created the problem in terms of Ultron. So if Tony Stark created Ultron, but then he saved the world from Ultron, it was still kind of originally his fault. So if you analyze that a bit, you can kind of see where he's coming from when he says he is for the registration of being controlled by a government entity and being told when and where to go, and basically the government taking responsibility for any collateral damage or shit they tear up. So Tony is down with that, and I mean, I'm kind of skipping forward into it, but because of Scarlet Witch's accident, which it really is an accident, I guess what they're trying to portray in the movie, it really is an accident. It's not like she intended for that to happen at all. She's still learning her powers. She's still adapting and finding out what she can do, really. So she accidentally murders a large number of people while saving Cap from Crossbones' suicide bomb. And next thing you know, you have General Thunderbolt Ross popping up with his opinion, which is really the opinion of like 130 or some odd countries that all agree that this is what we have to do, is now basically turn the Avengers into a worldwide police force, except they tell the Avengers when and where to go and when not to go, which is a big issue for Cap. So she accidentally murders civilians, and then the lines are drawn. That's when, well, Thunderbolt Ross shows up, tells everyone what's going to happen. You get the ultimatum of basically agree or retire. So later on, you get to a point that actually drives home the fact of what Cap is deciding to do, and that is the funeral of Peggy Carter. Her niece is giving just a speech or a eulogy, or she's talking to everyone, and she tells a story of how she asked her aunt how she did it and why and so on. And she said, being a woman in that situation in a very male dominated era, that you have to compromise when you can and don't when you can't. No matter how many people are telling you to move, you stand your ground and tell them, no, you move. And that really drives home, the timing, of course, is just perfect. And it drives home the point of what Cap thinks. Don't budge. What you're thinking is right. So, with all that going on, then also adds in the fact that you have the Winter Soldier running around causing chaos, supposedly. So, in that undefined chaos, you meet Chadwick Boseman's character, Black Panther, and in a certain, we're spoilers, so they blow up the damn meeting that they're having, and his father's killed. A lot of people don't know anything about the Black Panther character, and that was one of their complaints, that the movie didn't really delve into what he can do or what he is, or is he just a dude in a really tough suit and he can run fast? And no, actually no. And I understand your points, because yes, they didn't tell you jack about him. He just shows up kicking ass, and I even, knowing the Black Panther character and loving the Black Panther character, he's one of my favorite characters in Marvel. I knew what he can do and what it's all about and so on. So for someone who doesn't know that, seeing the movie, yeah, I completely understand your point. But no, he does actually have powers in a sense, because he carries the mantle of the Black Panther, and that indulges him with powers. I would say powers. He's enhanced. I hate to use that word enhanced, but he's enhanced by like a spiritual type power, though, not a mutation so much. We can't call them mutants. We have to call them enhanced, because we're arguing with Fox. Anyway, we got Spider-Man. Hopefully we can get the word mutants. Tony Stark recruiting Tom Holland, Peter Parker, recruiting him, it was odd for me to see that at first. I was kind of undecided. I was on the fence a bit about the fact that Tony now is the reason that Peter Parker gets his costume and really, goes into his role as Spider-Man. I was bouncing on that for a while, and you know what? I've come to terms with it, and I like it, because it opens up to so many more story possibilities, and the fact that yes, Spider-Man does help Tony Stark, but you never see Spider-Man agree to the registration or to the joining the police force of Avengers. You never see him agree to that, sign anything, nothing. So in Civil War, he's not with it, because he would have to reveal his identity and the people around him can get hurt. But then ultimately he decides to. So, I mean, there's just so many story possibilities with Tony being in Peter Parker's life. But for them to disagree, for them to agree, for them to work together, for them to hate each other, there's just, I mean, those are, just two of the same thing back and forth. But you get my point. There's so many possibilities and arcs and ways that the characters could go. So I actually do like the fact, I don't know if I was completely down with him being the reason. I thought maybe he would have had the suit and then Tony enhanced it. But no, he completely made the damn suit. But the airport scene just had so many points in it that I just went, oh my god, yes! Spider-Man popping up. Even when I seen it in the trailer, it got me when he popped up in the movie. I still loved it. And his fanboying out, I loved every second of it. Him over talking to Cap, him over talking to everybody, him kicking ass, and then still over talking and being nice, in a way like he always does. He's just having a conversation while he's kicking their ass. And Falcon even says it to him. He's like, you're not supposed to talk this much in a fight. Oh, sorry. And continues to kick their ass and then talk some more. And I love how he's like, I only got one job today and I'm trying to impress Mr. Stark. I laughed my ass off. The humor in it, while being still so serious at the same time because of the stakes being so high, but also them kind of holding back, and then to a point where they're not holding back. And then the boom moment of the airport scene. You all know what I'm talking about. Ant-Man gets big. And I loved his intro to it. He's like, if I get torn in half, don't come back for me. I was rolling. And then he grows, and I love how they just went ahead and gave you your reaction on his face. Because if you were fanboying out like I was, your eyes looked like his when he hit that height. It was great. It was awesome. Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith explained it best, I think, in his Fat Man on Batman review of Captain America: Civil War. If you get a chance, check that out. I highly recommend watching Fat Man on Batman if you like watching reviews and you like keeping up with what's going on. Kevin Smith is the man to check out. But he kind of summed it up best, I think, when he said that you got that feeling of, kind of being a kid again. He really summed it up the best. If you get a chance, check out Fat Man on Batman's review on Captain America: Civil War. It's really entertaining. So overall, perfect. I mean, I know that there's going to be complaints about something, and I know that I may end up having complaints about something, but right now, I'm still rocking the Civil War boner, and I'm going to keep it up, man. It was spectacular, and I'm going to watch it again tonight with my son. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. Awesome. Alright guys, thanks for watching. This is Frankly Freddie. This is my first video that, I figure what better? Captain America: Civil War, right? Please subscribe. I'm going to have more reviews coming. Check out facebook.com/Frankly Freddie. Really, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Comment down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Till next time, Frankly Freddie. Peace.
Shut up and sit down.